Today I have this Gilbert ladder chain movement to inspect. It's out of an Ithaca Grandfather Clock. The Ithaca Calendar Clock Company operated from 1865 until around 1918. They made their own cases and purchased movements from major movement fabricators like Gilbert. Nice Gilbert identification stamp on the rear plate along with the Gilbert logo. This movement is set up to use a ladder chain. When setting the time, the hour hand doesn't move, indicating the cannon pinion is slipping on the center arbor. Remove the chain so we can get a better look at the movement. This nut is loose on the verge pin. It's either stripped or the wrong size. The threads on the verge pin are in good shape. Now to take a look at why the hour hand doesn't move when setting the hands. Just as I thought, pinion that drives the hour wheel is cracked. It's lost its friction fit to the center arbor and no longer functions as designed. This condition is common on Gilbert movements. Many of the brass pinions seem to be under too much stress and eventually develop a crack in them. There isn't too much excess movement to most of the pivots. Escape wheel and verge pivots have some excess movement. Escape wheel skips across the pallets. Remove the suspension spring assembly. Missing the gold plating around some of the rivets indicates some rework in the past on this piece. Tool marks here. Brass suspension spring mount has been smashed around the two mounting rivets. A split in the brass common to the rivet locations. I don't think it left the Gilbert factory like this. This doesn't affect the fit, form, or function of the part, so no action needed to correct it. The verge pin slot is irregular. Looks like some wear or modification has happened in the past. The slot is curved. It should be straight. It also has an irregular slot width. An irregular width can cause timing issues if located where the verge pin works on it. Tool marks left from a file on this outer edge. Nicks on the inside of the slot. This rough edge here is left from when the part was originally die stamped. Surface of the brass here has tool marks, showing it may have been hammered on. Maybe it was bent in the past and someone straightened it, using a hammer and anvil. Once I get it running, I'll deal with the slot width if needed. These strike hammers have been worked on in the past. Looks like the strike wires were loose and someone tightened them. Mounting bushing on this one has been center punched in an attempt to snug it up, and when that failed, solder was applied. Excessive play in the mounting flange to the stud fit up here. Escape wheel pivot has excessive play in it. If you look closely, the escape wheel, when rotated in the correct direction, puts a constant pressure on the escape wheel bridge pivot hole in a downward direction. So all the wear takes place on the bottom of the pivot hole. But someone put 3 punch marks on the unworn side of the pivot hole location. They attempted to tighten the pivot hole from the wrong side of the hole. The escape wheel teeth aren't meshing with the verge pallets correctly. The tooth on the exit pallet has about the correct amount of lock and slide. But the escape wheel tooth on the entry pallet is not going into lock. It contacts directly onto the impulse face of the pallet. It will never run like this. The verge has been butchered. Remove the verge bridge for a closer look. Verge strap has been distorted. This pivot is rough looking. And the other one has been filed flat on one side. Entry pallet of the verge has been broken, then repaired with solder. The attempted repair has left the pallet mislocated. Solder is gobbed all over the locking surface of the pallet. and the impulse surface has been reshaped unevenly. Rust here, most likely from not cleaning and neutralizing the acid flux used during the soldering operation. It's going to need a new verge. This second wheel has been worked on in the past. The arbor is discolored from heat and there's solder on it. There's also rust around the repair. Looks like the acid flux didn't get neutralized after the solder was applied. The arbor is bent. Should have never been sent out to the customer like this, a sign of the butcher. Movement has cleaning fluid stains on it. Lots of localized rust, most likely from rinsing in water and not drying it completely. Remove the wire securing the hammers. Lots of clearance on this working section of the steel post, so much so the hammers can make contact and get hung up on each other. Not good. A couple of bushings will correct this. The steel post they're attached to is flared on the end. It's going to take some force to remove them. It doesn't look like the post is worn. Where the hammer assembly pivots on it, the end of the post is slightly larger. I'll deal with this later. The adjustable mounting assembly that holds the verge. Escape wheel bridge. The fastener screw on this side appears to be stripped. The screws are mismatched. One has been blued and the other is unblued. This one has been modified to fit. Threaded end has been cut and filed to shorten it. This one is completely stripped. Screw slot on this side has been modified for some reason. It has a notch in it. Escape wheel pivot hole will need to be bushed. Remove the escape wheel. Pivots look fairly good, but will need to be polished. Signs of rust. Some of the escape wheel teeth are bent and dinged up. This one has been twisted. Definitely been mistreated and abused. Use some shims to help pull the hammer control wheel off. It's bent and distorted slightly, probably from someone removing it incorrectly. Pull the movement apart and hope for the best. Hour wheel and pipe. Intermediate wheel. Fourth wheel. Third wheel. Second wheel. main wheel, a governor fan, fourth wheel, control levers, third wheel, second and main wheel. Rear plate has been bent and is warped from its original configuration. It's been handled roughly. Using this precision ground setup block, the amount of distortion shows up quickly. A lot of stains on top of the gold plating, left over from not rinsing and drying completely last time it was serviced. Outside of rear plate is missing some of its gold plating. The less shiny areas are the underlying brass showing through. It's dull oxidized brass. On the inside of the plate, these shiny areas are gold plating that's intact. These dull oxidized splotches are where the brass is exposed. A heavy dent here. Pitted rust on all the pillars. Inspecting the pinion on the center arbor, it's lost its friction fit. The source of the hour hand not moving while setting the hands. The crack can be seen more clearly now. This is a common condition. Being a friction fit, the brass just can't handle the continuous stress over a period of 100 years. The second wheel on the time side shows a previous repair. A generous amount of solder has been applied. Scratches through the gold plating are tool marks left from the rework. Some of the trundle holes in the shroud have been filled with solder. This trundle hole looks to be filled with rust. I see airspace between the shroud and the ends of the trundles. Not good. Up close, you can see the shroud is disconnected from the trundles. Trundles are loose as well. With the second wheel mounted between the plates, you can see the arbor and brass gear are bent. Escape wheel teeth have been abused. Trundles are nice and tight. Missing gold plating here where the exposed brass has oxidized. And lots of rust. Intermediate wheel pinion is cracked. It's being held securely in place where it's fastened to the gear, so we'll use as is. Fourth wheel pivots look good. Lots of rust. Trundles are loose. They should be tightened before they fail. Third wheel has been abused. It's bent and is breaking away from the brass hub. Signs of rust and damaged gold plating. Trundles are nice and tight. Rust and damaged gold plating seem to be common to a lot of parts on this movement. Lower shroud has tool marks on it, on this wheel. Well, I'll contact the client on this Gilbert ladder chain grandfather movement and see how they want to move forward on it.